Today I'm here to talk to you about Assassin's Quest, otherwise known as Fitzchivalry and the Infinite Sadness. This is the third and final book of the Farseer trilogy, the first of the trilogies in Robin Hobb's epic Realm of the Elderlings series, which I am just barely dipping my toes in, clearly, because I think there's like 17 books. But wow, is this just a crazy conclusion to this series? If you haven't heard my thoughts on the previous books, I will link those two reviews up above, but I will do my best to explain the conclusion of this series without any major spoilers, as well as the way it made me feel. The way you make me feel. Spoilers for my review, it made me feel hollow inside. So if you've heard anybody talk about this series, maybe one of the things that you've heard, it is extremely sad. I think going into this story with my full-on sad defenses up helped me go into this ending and not be completely soul-crushed. That being said, I felt empty inside. It was a very bittersweet sort of book. But before we even got to that ending, there's something worth noting about this book, which is the first book was kind of slow, but it was very interestingly paced, and I think it worked really well. The second book, I think, was like perfection with its pacing and its story and its reveals, and dang, that ending. This book is called Assassin's Quest, and it is the longest of the books by far. While the other two books in the series felt very focused and scope, potentially to a fault, with like weird branching paths, this book is a travel fantasy in a lot of ways. There was a lot of episodic stuff, especially at the beginning of this book, where it feels like we're just going from place to place with completely separate, unrelated story threads. And for me, that was really interesting and it worked. But if you are the type of person that enjoys like the tight pacing and you don't like to hear people walking and traveling, then this book is going to be a little bit rougher read for you. It honestly felt really jarring after like so much time in the first two books spent developing the like area that we're in, as well as the characters that we are like getting to know over the course of these two books. If you finish the second book, you know what I'm saying, but this third book, it's a very different feel because it's a very different vibe and there's a lot of traveling going on. So we're meeting new people instead of just developing further out the same old characters. Because of the events of the previous two books, power has completely changed. And so like, not only is the setting and the pace different, but the entire vibe of the whole book is really, really different. In this book, both with a lot of positives and with a lot of negatives, we get to see Robin Hobb's take on some familiar fantasy tropes and elements, and we get to explore like a broader section of this world for like the first half of this book. It feels, like I said, very episodic, but we get a lot of different glimpses of the Realm of the Elderlings world, which we really never got or very rarely got in the first two books. We get a lot more of that. Some people may consider that a negative. For me, it was both a positive and a negative because I still wanted to know where the main plot was going. I still think there's a little bit of weird red herrings where characters will try to do something and then it will change and they'll have to go do something else. And it was like, well, why pacing wise did we make that choice? But okay, I was along for the ride. If the pacing in the previous two books was a problem for you, this one is going to be rough because it is slower and it's so much longer. But dang, is there a lot of payoff? There is a lot more exploration of the magic than I really ever thought we'd get based on that first book. A ton of questions that you had throughout the series were answered. We get the finale of so many character storylines in ways that I didn't expect that were gut-wrenching, super, super rough, and also some of them were positive. I guess it's extremely bittersweet, but satisfying. The only weird thing I will say is that near the end of this book, when everything is coming together and wrapping up in kind of an awesome way, there's a really strange and odd and weird event. And if you read this book, you know exactly what I'm talking about. I have a lot of thoughts on it. I'm not a huge fan of the specific event that took place, so I feel like to kind of talk about this, we'll have to sort of gloss over some weirdness that happens. Robin Hobb makes some odd decisions, but I don't think those decisions screw up the finale and the major impact of the actual ending, nor do I think they really ruin the journey as a whole. My good friend Casey over at Lost in a Bookcase, I will link her channel down below. I very much expect her to come out with a little bit of a crazy rant review of this book. You'll probably have spoilers, but I'm going to link her channel down below. Be looking out for that. You should subscribe to her anyway. She's awesome. But for me, these were all things that I was able to take in stride or enjoyed, and so for me, this is a solid 4-star read. I do think that it hits a little bit less hard than Royal Assassin, which had me just wrecked, but it did do what I think that Robin Hobb really, really, really wanted it to do, which is I am extremely excited to go forward and continue on with this series. I've heard it only gets better from here. I know lots of people that like the second trilogy more than this first trilogy, and I like this first trilogy a heck of a lot. So I'm really hoping to continue on with this series starting next year. Recently, I have been seeing more love for Robin Hobb, but when I first started getting back into reading and getting on BookTube, I didn't see very much about Robin Hobb. Not many people had read her or talked about her in a positive light. I know some people have a hard time getting over the pacing of the first book, or it just doesn't click with them, but for me, I'm like, this might be one of my new favorite, if not my new favorite authors in a year where I read the Cosmere. Listen, I love the Cosmere, but I very much enjoy Robin Hobb's beautiful prose as well as her amazing character work. As far as I know, this series is her first set of published works, and dang, she killed it right out of the gate. If she gets better from here, I don't know how she wouldn't continue to be my favorite author. If you've seen these reviews and these books sound at all interesting to you, go read the first book. I really recommend it to you. I don't think these books are going to be for everyone. I don't think they have the same mass appeal as some of the more popular names on BookTube, but that I don't think that at all reflects to the quality of the books. I think that these are extremely important fantasy books to read because I just think that they are amazing. These first three books were written in the 90s during that shift from like all plot to more character-focused work, and Hobb was absolutely killing it with publishing these books in a landscape that wasn't as friendly to her as a modern one I don't think would be. I'm hoping to start reading the next trilogy probably early in 2021. I will be announcing that stuff, so hopefully you can join me if that's something that you're interested in. Also, if these books sound good to you, that gives you an opportunity to read these before then so you can catch up. I really think you should. I hope you do, and please let me know if you do. If these books have sounded interesting to you, please comment down below. If you like this review, please leave a thumbs up, and if you would like to see more reviews from me or other videos from me, please subscribe to the channel. Thank you so much. This was a Patreon buddy read over on my Discord. My Discord is public and it's linked down below, and if you would like to support me financially by joining the Patreon, that link is also down below. I hope more people are able to pick up and read Robin Hobb's work and have the same experience that I did, which was just pure joy of discovery, and by joy of discovery, I mean heartbreak warfare. Heartbreak warfare. I hope to see you again soon. Thank you for watching. Bye.
No one ever get enough. Always looking out tired. Sleep. No one ever get enough. If it don't show up, I might get fired. Sleep. No one ever get enough. Always looking out tired. Sleep. No one ever get enough. If I don't show up, I might get fired.